please.
Okay, so how I moved abroad. I was a teenager when I decided to move abroad. No, actually, I was like a young adult, and I was like 19 years old, 20, no, 22 maybe. So I have this idea to learn a new language, but at that time I was still like learning English. My level was more than the beginner level, so I wanted to learn a new language, and so because I wanted to like also try something new. And then I was like in my mind thinking it could be French or or German. And then, of course, at that time, I didn't know which one was difficult, or I don't even, I didn't even know um, which one will give me like more opportunities in the professional um, area, let's say. But when I decided which language, I decided German. I don't know. I saw a city in internet. I remember I was checking cities, and I saw Hamburg, and then oh, so beautiful. The city was, oh, it looks so clean, and then I decided German because of that city. I was just watching some videos also, so I decided that city. I decided that language because of that city. And then when I talked to my parents helped me to travel to Germany. But I didn't start learning the language. I I started uh, I started studying just a master degree because I couldn't like with the language where to come inside Germany, or yeah, the documentations were different, and it was like the easiest way to come to Germany was like by the master degree. So yeah, during that time I was studying the master degree, and then I studied also the language. And then I also realized the language was so difficult. So I studied both the master degree and the language. And then no, I saw, oh, I need to stop because this language was is difficult. And then my English became so bad also during that time because I tend tend to think more in German, and then but to be honest, I was in Berlin. I still in Berlin, and the city is so international. So if you don't speak English, usually if you don't speak German, the people here usually switch immediately to English. So yes. So as a result, I'm still learning the language, but I decided like to learning no only like studying with the books, or no, I decided just to learning the way people learn here just by listening. And so I have learned a lot of things only by listening. Of course, it's the things and the grammar that I studied before ha, have helped me to to reach the level that I have now. But I think the best way for me now is no stress and only decided by only learning by listening to others, um, learn the necessary to stay and have a relative normal life in the country.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. So one thing, why number 7 is, what is the conclusion? Is number 7 or is this one?
Um, for me, the conclusion is number 7.
Uh,
Okay, I go to that conclusion, and based in that conclusion, I have this I make a decision.
Yeah,
I,
today we're going to take a look at this because this is like an important input. But in my eyes, the conclusion is this one.
okay,
Because you find the language, studying the language could become hard. And also your English will be affected by it because it happens a lot that your German level increases. In the same way, your English skills decreased, right? So then you decided to learn the necessary to live in the country. But for me, that's the conclusion,
okay.
right? Okay, very good, very good. It was clear. Just a little bit confusing when you say why you didn't decide to study the language, but to study a master degree instead.
Oh yes, because the the documents that you need to gather are completely different, and it was easier to come to study the master degree first than
Right,
the language. The
very
language you need to contact the schools also. You have to also the financial part is really important in this part. So the master degree you can like proceed with the payments every 3 months, or yeah, every three months. And with the language you needed to have a large amount of money. You need to pay everything in advance.
Very good. So in this case, to explain it better, you have to say first what was complicated. So the paperwork and procedures were harder or more difficult if I decided to study a language course.
Yeah.
So I decided to study the master degree. So the paperwork for the master degree was easier. And then after saying this, you can go with example. For example, I need to have would you have just explained to me, right?
Okay.
But better to say that the first concept, the paperwork and procedures were harder or more difficult if I studied a language course, so I decided to study a master course, right? You can also give examples like what you just said, but after saying the main idea, right? Because the person then have to listen to you to the whole example to draw a conclusion.
Okay.
So you first say it was so difficult, the paperwork. For example, you need this, and that. So I decided to study a master degree. You know, yesterday I was in the the Deutsche Zentrum, the language academy here in Guayaquil, to talk about my experience with the scholarships I got from Germany, and it was so interesting. The number of people interested in getting scholarship to go to Germany, right? It was a full, the salon was full, and it was a quite a nice and interesting thing. Of course, I deliver my cards and I talk about didactic learning and what I'm doing.
Mm.
But it was very interesting.